Hi, I'm Ashley Bikarski with the Tennessee Tribune, and we are here with Dr. Shawn Joseph, former Metro Nashville Public Schools Director, to talk about his new book, Finding the Joseph Within, and that's going to be released this
October
month.
28th. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I am Shawn Joseph. I was the former director of Metro Nashville Public Schools. Currently, I am a visiting associate professor at Fordham University. And, I'm excited to get this story out. It's really it's a story that really looks at 5 movements in my life, like from, that tells a little bit about how I was born and, how I got to college, because I'm the first person in my family to actually, graduate from high school, to be able to go off, and the first definitely to graduate from college. So I talk a little bit about the college years, my years from a teacher to becoming the first superintendent, and actually first African-American superintendent in Seaford, Delaware, back in 2012, and then becoming deputy superintendent. I give a chapter speaking specifically about the nuances and experience here in Metro Nashville. And then I talk about what happens, life after. But I use the story of Joseph, the biblical story of Joseph, the one whose brothers threw him in the pit, and I use that as a parallel in life. So the book really talks about not the successes that I've had in life, but the challenges that we've had to overcome, because there are many, and they can. Life is, the longer you live, the more challenges you will face. Race matters in America still today, and there is still unequal, inequitable treatment of people by race. Mm-hmm. It's interesting. About a month ago, I did some work in Mississippi, and I was close to where Emmett Till was brutally lynched and thrown in a river. And I noticed the signage right at that stop, had bullet holes in it. And so I went and pulled up an article. And this is 2019. I pulled up an article, and it talked about how the fact that they were going to replace that sign with a bulletproof sign. So that visual just reinforced in me that there are still people in this country that hate based upon race. When I look at my experience here in Nashville, it's impossible to say that race didn't matter. Mm-hmm. And a lot, I've heard people say that it didn't. It did, in my belief. I don't think. I think there were mistakes that were made, and there were cultural nuances and things that I did that people weren't accustomed to, that there was a reaction to, that I wholeheartedly should own. Mm-hmm. But I do think that in Tennessee in 2019, that issues of race are still here. And I think there are a lot of good people trying to change that, of all races and of all backgrounds. And I think there are people that, saw the experience, that I endured. And my thing was, my attitude through it all was, what's the worst anybody could do? Fire me? I do have a doctorate from George Washington University. Mm-hmm. I've not done anything wrong. So I was never afraid of losing the job. And I chose and requested that we mutually separate, because I didn't want to be an impediment to teachers getting their raises and the funds and things of that nature, because it just became, a bit of a circus from my perspective. So in that instance, I thought the best thing to do for the city and for children was to request that, we just exercise the language in my contract that said we could mutually separate, which, a number of the board members agreed, and I spoke to board members about that, and I'm thankful that they were able to get through that process. But yeah, this country is challenged by issues of race, and I think we need more people of all backgrounds. It can't just be Black folks and Latino folks and people of color screaming about the injustices that are happening. We need courageous white folks, people in power, to speak up and talk about the injustices that occur. And there has to be a multiracial coalition, similar to what happened when the NAACP was first established. It wasn't established by just African Americans. It was established by a coalition of compassionate, caring, powerful people of all backgrounds who said enough is enough, and let's do right by all people. We need that type of movement in every city and every town in this country.